Please tell me he's much better. So the kid who is now my personal trainer, when he was much younger, he would pronounce muscles as muscles. Now he's one. Hi everyone. Hello. Uh, it's Thursday. I'm trying to remember what I was going to say. TikTok, family, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Y'all, it's Thursday. Bear with me. It's Thursday. It's almost the end of the week. Okay, try not to run to things that I could remember. I just got these new glasses. I don't have anything round. This is my very first pair of round glasses. Doesn't make my face look even rounder because I have like hair shaped face, like my face is wider and it tapers down like this. I have a very sharp jaw. I have a sharp jaw, so because I bite people. I bite with my words. So, hi everyone. Do you like it? This is the very first oval/round frame I've ever like with all the. Okay, thank you. With all the everything, I've always stuck with either square or rectangle. So I went for my eye exam, and Robbie, shout out to Robbie, my that's my main man right there at Primary Eye Care. So if you're wondering where I get all my glasses from, is Robbie, Primary Eye Care, something. He says, try something different, try something out of the norm. I was like, I have a round face. He goes, you don't have a round face. Oh, thank you. I was very reluctant. And I think because I'll tell you what sold me on it. It has red. You see, it has red inside. Also sold me the inside, the inner part of it is red. I was like, so say no more. Hi everyone, this is Attorney 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒓𝒂𝒏𝒕. I'm an immigration. Okay, thank you. I'm still, he said wait and see what you feel. So we'll see. I'm an immigration attorney based in Alabama, representing immigration clients in all 50 states. If you've got an immigration case, if it's a case that we handle, we'll be glad to represent you. Yeah, you already know. You anything, just mention red. That's it. Just the same way I use bold red fonts. I'm sure those officers in USCIS, when they see my letterhead, they're like, oh, not her again. Not her again. Just like last week. Was it last week? This week? Last week? I don't even know. One of my H-1B petitions, they decided they wanted to send me an RFP. I was like, what? Like, did y'all read what I sent in? So I had to bring out the bold red font. I think it was 3 days after they approved the case. Don't play with me. Just don't play with me. That red font comes like y'all play too much. Like y'all. Anyway. Once again, this is Attorney 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒓𝒂𝒏𝒕 Samuel. We're based in Alabama, but we represent immigration clients in all 50 states. So it doesn't matter what state you live in. We'll be glad to represent you. You can reach us at 334-341-4475. Our website also is one of the fastest ways you can contact our office, 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒓𝒂𝒏𝒕. Send an email to info@𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒓𝒂𝒏𝒕. Same number. I was eating fried y'all. Same number on WhatsApp. We do not take calls on WhatsApp, but WhatsApp is mainly for text messages. We'll be glad to take over your case or start a new case for you, whatever the case may be. Talking of new cases, Mr. Diop, if you're watching, I am going to send you. They already drafted the contract. I just have to review it. That's all. Y'all bear with me. Okay. Oh, my oldest son is home. My baby is home. My oldest son is home. My oldest son is home. My oldest son is home. My baby is at home. Fall break. Oh, can y'all believe it's already fall break? It's already fall break. My oldest son is my low maintenance kid. He's home. You know, we have one high maintenance kid. He who shall not be named. Everybody's favorite nephew. Yeah. Then you forget that I have another child. I do have another child. My oldest kid is 20. It's going to be 21 in less than 2 months. By God's grace. Wow. I remember when I was 21. I literally remember when I was 21. It feels just like yesterday. I kid you not. And the thought of me having an almost 21-year-old kid or young adult is like, my blood. But anyway, hi, Miss Nilechi. How are you? All right. So let's talk immigration, y'all. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. So when you go on YouTube and university, please make sure you are putting in Olale Law Firm or at Olale Immigration, all things immigration, whatever. When we have live, it's also uploaded to our YouTube channel. So if you want to go back and watch any of the videos, there's tons and tons. I don't even know. Someone told me I've made over 200 videos. Like what? But yeah, it's, that's a lot of talking. So it's very, very helpful. Share with your family members and friends. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn, WhatsApp at Olale Immigration. Like, follow, share, subscribe. All of that will be appreciated. If you are just joining us for the first time, let us know what state, what city, what country you're joining from. If you've got questions, put your questions in the comment section. Please, 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 please do not repeat your questions. Put a question in the comment section and just leave it as that. I'll get to as many questions as possible. So let's talk immigration, y'all. Okay. For whatever reason, we're seeing a lot of people contact us or make consultations regarding whether or not they should withdraw their pending asylum application when they start a marriage-based case, or they should leave it. I believe we've done a live or a video post about this topic, but I wanted to revisit this. So we were very clear on what you need to know. Remember, this forum is basically just for general information. This is not, this does not create any client-attorney relationship in any way. It's just, do really what as you wish kind of thing. So if you have a marriage-based case, a lot of people come into the country, they file an asylum case, right? And a lot of people also file an asylum case without even knowing what was submitted on their behalf. I can't even tell you how many times I hear as a lawyer, but as time went on, I found out people should lawyer. So okay, I understand. Basis of you cannot possibly say you don't know what was in your application, because you are basically attesting on the I-589 form that the information contained in that form is the information that you have provided, whether or not you're not the one who completed the form, but you are saying that because you're signing the form. So as far as USCIS is concerned, the information on your I-589 asylum application form is information that you gave your preparer, whoever that is, and it's not going to hold water for you to claim that you don't know what's in your phone. So anyway, that happens a lot. People come into the country, a lot of people convince you, hey, file an asylum, you get a work permit so you can start working and all that. What we're seeing, if I show you my case tracker, it's like somebody just woke up and decided, you know what, all asylum cases pending since Jesus first came, we're not going to schedule them for interviews. We've got quite a number of asylum cases being scheduled for interview over the next 2 months. It's ridiculous. I didn't even know we had filed that many asylum cases. I'm like, okay, so we're doing a lot of preparation for clients, and these are all affirmative, meaning with USCIS. So if you had a case where you filed an asylum case, and then along the line you got married and you have an American spouse that is not filing for you, or he has filed for you, or you're in the process of you're in the green card process. The question then becomes, what happens to your asylum case? Do you have to withdraw that case, or if not, then at what point do you withdraw it? If you don't withdraw it, what happens to the case? If you withdraw it while your green card application is pending, what happens to your status? So let's talk about all of that. First things first, if you've got an asylum case that is pending, please understand and hear me loud and clear. It is not an excuse for you not to know the grounds for your asylum application. If you do not know, the grounds for your asylum application, USCIS will consider that application a frivolous application. The problem with a frivolous application conclusion is that it will affect them granting any other immigration benefit on your behalf. If USCIS concludes that you submitted a frivolous asylum application, then even no matter how much good faith evidence you have in your marriage case, it will not be approved based on the conclusion that you submitted a frivolous asylum application. That is how serious it is. If you claim not to know what was submitted in your asylum application, you have to know. So that's the first thing. Now, if you have a marriage-based case that you have now filed, when you have the case pending, should you withdraw your asylum application? The short answer to that is it depends. And it depends on if you have an alternative, in the sense of if you have a third case or a fallback status, I should say. An example, you come into the country on an F1 visa, right? You are in school, but you know that whenever you're done with your program of study, you're not going to be able to go back to your home country because there is something that you fear, there's some kind of harm that will come on you, or your family members call you and say, hey, you can't come back home because this is what's going on at home and all that. So while your F1 is pending, you file an asylum case. That is pending, and so you have the asylum case, and you're still in valid F1 status. You get married, and you're still in F1 status. Now you've got a green card application that's also pending alongside your F1 status, just because you're still in school, and an asylum case. In that situation, as long as you maintain that F1 status and your green card application is promising, meaning there shouldn't be any reason why it should be denied, you may go ahead and withdraw your asylum application because you've got that fallback status of the F1 that is still valid, as long as you haven't validated that status. In that situation, that would be a perfect scenario where you can withdraw your application. And that will be definitely, these are things you consult with an attorney on. So assessing your case and seeing how strong enough your green card application is, assessing your F1 status to see how much longer you've got on your program. Those are factors that will determine whether or not it will be in your best interest, or if it's reasonable for someone in that situation to withdraw their asylum application. Now, if you do not have a fallback status, like someone who has a valid non-immigrant status, you only have an asylum case that is pending, and you have your marriage-based case that is ongoing, it is not advisable for you to withdraw your asylum application until USCIS approves your green card application. The reason being, you don't have any fallback status. Example, you come into the country with a B1, B2 visitor visa, right? And you stay the 6 months you were given. Before the first year anniversary in the United States, you file for asylum. While your asylum case is pending, you get married. Your American spouse files your green in the I-130 petition. You file your green card on that basis. Your case is still pending. Your green card has not been approved. You've got an asylum case, but you are now out of status. Your B1, B2, I-94 has expired, so that's not an option. In that situation, it is best for you to hold off withdrawing your asylum application until USCIS approves your green card. It is best for you to not withdraw your asylum application until USCIS approves your green card. It used to be, this is when I say used to be, like before this administration, when, quite a number of people, I had even clients that I advised, and then they just felt more comfortable doing that. On the previous administration, where you could have gone ahead to withdraw your asylum application because you have a green card application pending, you have a VAWA case pending, USCIS acknowledges your withdrawal, you send them proof of your green card application is pending, because with an I-485, it authorizes you to stay in the country. It doesn't protect you from removal proceedings, but it authorizes you to stay in the country. And based on that basis, USCIS didn't waste their time in sending NTAs or anything. We are in different times now. Under this administration, this is not a case of can they, it's a case of when will they. And that's because I've consulted with people who have been in this situation where even though you've got a green card application that is pending, you've got an I-485 that authorizes you to stay in the country. What we are seeing is, though, if you withdraw your asylum application, two people have consulted with me. It's not the case of someone said that we're actually referred to immigration court based on USCIS issuing them NTAs subsequent to the withdrawal of the asylum application, saying that because they're not in any valid status, they're not being placed in removal proceedings. And so that is the danger of withdrawing your asylum application when you've got no fallback status, in the sense that you have no other non-immigrant status and your green card has not been approved. So it's not just a case where, yes, let's go ahead and withdraw it. You have to understand your facts are completely different from the next person. You have to make the decision based on your specific case and whether or not it's going to be reasonable and in your best interest to actually withdraw the asylum application. So the best thing you can do for yourself is to consult with an attorney. Make sure you know what affects you. Now, if you are in the situation where you did not know or you have no clue what was submitted on your behalf, so that obviously is let me find the word that is very subtle that I can use. It's not the wisest decision. Let me put it that way. It's not the wisest decision, right? Because you should know what. I mean, I don't know how people would not know what's in there. For instance, I would not represent anyone in an asylum case if you don't have a story. You must. I've had people come to me and say, "Hey, well, I don't know. To each their own. I don't look for stories for people. Like, if you don't have an asylum story, we're not filing anything because you're the one who is going to tell me why you're afraid to go back to your home country. So it doesn't make sense to me that people don't know what's in their file or they don't know the story, the basis of their. Because I would ask someone like, so what's the ground for your asylum? Is it race? Is it religion? Is it PSG? What is it? And they have no clue. So if you are in that kind of category, if you're on that category where you have no clue what's in your case, first of all, do a FOIA, and you don't have access to the person who helped you. Do a FOIA request of your records. Get your complete copy of your file from USCIS, so at least you know what is in your record. If it's something you can back up with evidence, great. Let it be. If it's not, and if it's something you cannot back up with evidence because it never actually happened, and that's but that is very risky. If you know that you've got zero evidence for your asylum case and you happen to, because like I said, there's a lot of people are more, and I think the reason why we're getting more of those consults is because they are scheduling these interviews for asylum cases rather quickly. And if you know you've got no basis, that you cannot, for the life of you, support your the grounds you stated in the asylum application, then it may be better off for you. You may be better off withdrawing your asylum application, but not immediately. In that case, I would suggest that you request that they reschedule your interview. Now, you must show good cause for asking them to reschedule the interview, but that's going to be in your best interest than to withdraw it and then risk being placed in removal proceedings while your green card application is pending. It gets complicated, I understand, but before you withdraw your asylum application, make sure you understand you have evaluated how it's going to affect you. Is it possible to have people with green card applications, no other status, withdraw their asylum application and no NTA? Absolutely. There's so many, the asylum offices all over the country. But most people would end up, without you having something to fall back on. Like I said, an I-485 pending is an authorized stay. It is not a deferment of removal proceedings. So just know what city your specific circumstances are. Consult with a lawyer. If you don't have your file, do a FOIA request. Get your copy of your file from USCIS. Know what's in your record. If it's something that can be sustained with evidence, great. If you cannot sustain it with evidence, then it may be time for you to start looking into how to withdraw. If you get scheduled for an interview, that ask that they reschedule your interview. Now, when you get your green card through marriage, so your green card has been approved, you're not having, the asylum case is still pending. At that time, you can go ahead and withdraw your asylum application. Actually, most of the time, USCIS, the asylum office, actually will send you, because it's the same system. They will see that and they'll send you a letter saying that, hey, we've been notified that your status has changed. You're not a legal permanent resident. Let us know if you want to continue with your asylum application. If we do not hear from you from within the next 30 days, we're going to close out your file, something along those lines. So they would probably send that to you. If you don't get that from the asylum office, once you have your green card, send a request to withdraw your asylum application with proof that you're now a legal permanent resident, which would be a copy of your green card application, also a copy of your I-485 approval notice, end of story. Just know that it's a very, when we are under different circumstances, it is not a straightforward thing to just withdraw your asylum application right now. It has to make sense for your own specific case. When in doubt, consult with an attorney so that you can make an informed decision on how to go about your case. So I hope that helps. I really hope that helps. So yeah, I'm sure it's going to get consults on that, and that's fine. This video is going to be up on all platforms, so you can always go back and review it. But that's how you would go about having a pending asylum application, and you're going through marriage-based green card application as well. You've got to be very strategic when it comes to things like this. And that's what you're, people. That's it. All of that. Okay. All right. So if you've got questions, put your questions in the comment section, and I will try the best I can. Let me just do another 15 minutes because my kid has homework that I need to help him with before he goes to bed. So put your questions real quick. Let's go to as many as possible. The more you know. The more you know. Okay. How long does preparation take for a VA case before filing? Every law firm is different. So it just depends on when you can get evidence from the client and all that. So there's no one size fits all. Okay, let's see. So let me go to what's the time? 8:56. Let's go to TikTok. Shall I be on there? Listen, y'all, it's been a very productive week. Knock on wood. You know how? Oh, shout out to Miss F. How could I have forgotten? Y'all, when I tell you that this lady, Miss F, was sworn in as a citizen today, when I tell you that, I'm laughing because I can. There's some consults you have with certain people that you just can't forget because those cases just stand out in your head. Well, in my head. I remember when she told me about her case because we started with a 754 that she pro se filed herself, and things just took a drastic turn. Spouse moved out. There was no abuse really. It was the case about we getting divorced. What she literally what was stuck. Like, okay, I have no clue what I'm supposed to do. Consulted us, and we're now dealing with it's quite a bit. And so going from that situation to, and while we were even trying to convert, USCI sent us a request for evidence. So he was like, oh, okay, what else y'all want to throw in? Keep it coming. And then we had a very, very, very intense interview. Like, ooh, listen, but her testimony has been perfected. So today, in spite of all of that, she was sworn in as a citizen today. There is absolutely no case that God cannot give you the anointing of ease on. when God gives you the anointing of ease, it doesn't matter who is. Let them bring their toughest officer on your case. If God speaks, who dares to go against what He has spoken concerning you? That's that. So getting that photograph from her today, like it was just the eyes. I think that's why I'm just in a great mood, because I was just thinking like, wow, who would have thought? Who would have thought? God alone be praised. God alone be praised. I'm just grateful and truly honored to do this work, and it is truly life changing. Obviously we get denials. That's just what that's the reality of the nature of my job. But the prayer is always that we get more, even those denials become the reasons, part of testimonies down the road. So congratulations to Miss F. We celebrate you, and as one a new citizen, welcome to the club. God is faithful. All right. Questions, which responses to your questions are general information, nothing specific to anyone's case. We'll be glad to have a consultation with you. You can contact our office 334-341-4375. Hello, Epic Movement. Okay, so let's see. Let's see. Brian 78. I was going to answer your question, but you decided to repeat it, so I'm going to skip it. The same thing with Ahmed Tijani. If you want your question answered, you cannot repeat your question. That happens a lot on TikTok. So if I say a question was asked more than once, it's going to be skipped. So if I'm not answering your question, that's because it's repeated. Okay, let's see. I sent my RFE almost 180 days ago. No response. What do you think? I can't think of anything, because you've already sent it. That's all they needed from you. There's no reason. 180 days. It takes more than that for the vow to be adjudicated. Let's see. Okay, the same. All right. So there's Brian 78. That's 589. Okay, just repeated questions. Okay. My husband's I-130 was approved with NBC, and now it's been since 2022, but no interview. He is Nigerian. So what's your question? So what's your question? 124 days since marriage-based interview. No update. Should I be worried? I can't speculate to your case, but generally it's not. I usually don't fuss until we're hitting about that 180 days. But the one thing is we're seeing a lot of backlogs with a lot of cases. So it's not just one field office. That's what we're seeing a lot of, and that's just reality of everything that's going on. My wife divorced me in Nigeria, but it's not finalized before I apply for visa to US and claim. All right, okay. All right. So what is your question? Anything about, can you travel? Direct that questions or those questions to your attorney. If you don't have an attorney, schedule a consultation with one. I have been approved for citizenship oath ceremony for the past 5 months now, and they haven't called me. So what's your question? Y'all have to ask questions. Well, allow me to see. I was going to ask, since I said, what's your question? I would have answered your question, but you decided to put your question 3 times or your statement 3 times. So it's going to be skipped. Okay. Let's see. Well, I'm not going to answer that now. I think I said that. I say it all the time. Like, please do not repeat questions. I'm not really sure why. I mean, this broadcast is on all platforms at the same time. But anyway. Same questions. Okay. Good evening. I'm asked to pay $100 for my asylum case that I filed since 2017. Is that okay? Yes. If everyone who has a pending asylum case that has been pending for at least a year is going to be required to pay that $100 annual fee. So you have to pay it. Can someone be deported if their parents filed for them after they overstayed? If you don't have any legal status, and especially if you're not an immediate relative will be, and you're talking about parents filing for you. If you're not under the age of 21 and your parents are not citizens, then you don't have that means you've overstayed. You have a clear path to adjustment of status through that I-130. So you may be placed in removal proceedings. It's not the straight up deportation, but you may be placed in removal proceedings. Okay. Okay. Okay, so that's amended to January. Okay, still the same person repeating questions. Let me go to Facebook. How is the interview like for a bar case with the judges? Bar case with the judges. What does that mean? Miss Mary, what do you mean by how is the interview like for a bar case with the what judges? Are you talking what VAR interview? Are you talking of your green card application that's based on VAR? Thank you, Ollie. Okay, let's go to Instagram 905. How is life from your side? Life is great. Life is great. We thank God. He is doing great. Back to his routine of running around and making us trip on cars. Cars on Legos. I don't miss those days. I would be lying to you if I told you that I miss those days. I remember when because it's almost 6 years between my boys. Yeah, it's just 20, just 15. But I mean, they didn't have a choice to play together. But so there was a time where they were 9 and 3, and we had this what's it called? This train set where it actually was like like the size of a pool table, but at their level, it was just massive in the middle of my living room. And then I was when I was in my old former house, and some of the parts were like Legos, and then you think cars and Legos are bad? Step on the train, step on any of those Thomas the Train craziness. You would meet God, you would meet Jesus, and come back. I'm not even kidding you, y'all. Anybody just step on. If you have girls, you're lucky because they're playing anything sharp. But boys, I'm just glad I survived. I'm glad I survived. I'm glad I survived. Lord have mercy. But boy, is there something. Thank you. Hello, Miss Oyefeso. Hello, Miss Blessing. How are you? I have Nigerian divorce. Again, my question is, I have Nigerian divorce. Okay, Frank, can you? Your question is confusing. I'm not. You haven't asked a question actually. That's not the question. So, what exactly is your question? Yeah, but he didn't even ask the question. That's the thing. Hello, Miss Nilechi. How are you? Okay, I see. I now have Texas divorce for 10 years. I will be with 10 years. I will be due for citizenship in September 2026. So, what is the question? What is it? Okay. Hello, Blue Trinians. How are you? It's been a minute. Okay, let's see. Can you represent a client in Georgia? Yes, when it comes to immigration cases. Thank you, Mr. Sanctuary. So yeah, we represent immigration clients in all states. Okay. Hello, Epic Movements. Oh, plenty 01. Good evening. Is there any implication of having two cases at the same time? Mr. Olale, I think we've already addressed that issue already because we've already addressed that issue. So I'm not really sure why you are bringing it here when you've already emailed me and we've already talked about that, which I also emailed you today about that. Hello, Anthony Senate. How are you? It's been a minute. If you survive, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. Just a lot of prayer. Boys are something. I'm telling you, boys are easy. Boys are easy. I think boys are easier. Well, I wouldn't know. I think for those of you who have both sexes, like boys and girls, which have you seen is a lot easier to raise? I don't know. They all come. I don't think I would have been a great girl mom. I'm too tomboyish for that. But I also don't have. Boys will teach you patience. Girl, imagine having a mini me in my house. Hello, the Thomases. How are you? Good to hear from you. How is life treating you? These are my former clients. Well, people always remain part of the Olale law firm family. Green card done and dusted. I think boys are easier, but a lot more expensive. I don't think they're expensive at all. Well, I take that back. Let's see how quickly I took that back. Let me give you the lawyer answer for that. It depends on the boy. Depends on the child when it comes to boys. How expensive they get. It depends. My IRS refund is on hold for accuracy. They owe me money. Can I still file? As long as they owe you money, not the other way around, you should be good to go. Boys teach you exactly what I just said. Boys will teach you patience. Girls will, I think, would almost get you to heaven before your time. I think, because I always sometimes imagine if I had a girl. I know God has a great sense of humor. I'd probably give me a girl that has my same attitude and my same personality. That's a lethal combination. That's a very lethal combination. One of us will be in jail. I can guarantee you that. Guarantee. Okay. I filed my asylum since 2023 for family of three. My paying the asylum. You're going to pay the. I'm not. See, I cannot. I'll tell you that the ones we've received so far are just for the single applicant. I would not anticipate that each they're going to send you a notice for all your derivative beneficiaries. I think it's just going to be part because that's I'm assuming. But until you receive, so wait to receive your notice. They will send you a notice. So your notice will tell you whether or not you're paying for just yourself or the whole family. But I wouldn't anticipate they would expect each applicant to pay. I'm not sure, but just wait to get your the notice from them. Pending asylum case since 2017, filed for FOIA. Should I be doing anything differently other than wait? Nothing. You just have to wait for your records. I'm a citizen, cannot file for my son, but I didn't put his name when I was filing for my stuff. Why do y'all do that? Seriously, why do y'all do that? I don't get it. Now, àwọn tó yẹ pé ẹbí mo náà gbà tẹ lọlé. Okay, mo get yẹn. Mo get yẹn because ẹ̀rẹ̀ ní America ṣé accident ló ṣẹlẹ̀ ní ẹ̀ṣubú lèèyàn ní ẹ̀ṣubú lẹ́nu náà nígbà tẹ délé gbé bọ̀dá yẹn jẹ́ ẹ̀ṣubú ni mo jẹ̀rẹ̀ lóyún. Doesn't work that way. We know. So I get that, but the issue then becomes not fighting for that child when you've already said you don't have a child. We could do a whole lot of stuff with the someone consulted them. So let me maybe this will help with your question. Someone consulted with me today. They filed an I-751. USCIS doubts their marriage, so they asked them for additional good faith evidence. But not just that. There's a part in the RFE that says that even when they not RFE not RFE, what's it called? NOID, that even if we get insufficient evidence of your marriage, we question whether or not your petitioning spouse should have been able to file for you, because administrative review of his records shows that he has a pending application for a child that he never mentioned in any of his applications. So they haven't sent him any notice. They haven't said, but that's what was in the NOID for this lady, that even if she's able to provide sufficient bona fide evidence, we're not sure that your green card, it should have been issued in the first place, because your petitioning spouse should not have even been approved based on omission of names of children that he's now filing for. That's not something any cost of window. That's something that was actually stated in NOID that was in one of my consults from today. So we again, it's not too scary. It's just to let you know what's going on right now with this admin. Things that we could do, and nobody batted an eye before. It's not the same now. So just sit down with the lawyer and figure out what's the best thing for you to do at this point. Okay. Do you do EB3? Yes, I actually represent employers, so only employers can sponsor you for an EB3. Unless you're thinking about EB2, which is the self-petition. EB3 has to go through an employer. I have an approved EB2, and I have an asylum case in court. What is my right step? Sit down with the lawyer to figure out what the next steps are. Interview for VAR, if any. How does it go? There's no interview for VAR. Now, USCIS decided last year, even before this admin, that some people will be scheduled for an interview if you filed your I-45 with your VAR application. We're not seeing that anymore when you initially file it. But what we're seeing is, after the VAR has been approved, people being scheduled for an interview based on for the I-45 interview after VAR approval. So yeah, that's what we're seeing more of. How do you feel about AOS for EB3 DACA type? You can do EB3 adjustment on DACA. You have to be in a lawful presence. You have to be in a lawful status. And so the fact that you're not accrued in unlawful presence, but if you're ready for you to have DACA, then you must have. It's not a yes or no. So one has to know your body for a general employment basis. You must be in a valid status in order to adjust status, or you have not been out of status, meaning you have that status. So keep in mind, DACA is an authorized state. It's not a lawful status. It's not a status. Let me put it that way. No, I won't say no, it's not, because it's not unlawful, but it's an authorized state. So for employment purposes, if you use an AP to come in, you have had DACA, you have an AP that's approved, and you come in with an AP, you go back on the DACA, then you're able to adjust status. Say, for instance, you get married to a citizen and all that. But for EB3, you're required to be in status, so you've not been out of status for more than 6 months. to be able to use 245K exemption. Sit down with the lawyer to figure out what your case. How can I know when a wife has divorced without my consent? Go to the courthouse where you think they could have filed it, and ask the court to or tell them you want to find out if your estranged spouse has filed a divorce against you. For instance, if you can consult with a lawyer as well. So a lot of states have databases where you can actually see your divorce, pull up your divorce case. In Alabama, for instance, if someone wants to know if someone has filed a divorce against them, we have a database on our courts where everyone has to. That's where you have to file everything. So it will be an our court. You'll be able to see if someone has filed something against you. Okay. Hello, Ola F. How are you? All right, I think that's all. Are we experiencing even longer wait times for I-130 petitions? It seems like that. Violent cancellation or removal can be filed in removal proceedings. Yes, even if divorce over 2 years, because there's no requirement. That's not a requirement for in court. Okay. All right. I think we have. Okay. That will be. I think those are all the questions. Is approved cancellation removal in court is approved cancellation of removal in court be targeted? I don't understand the question. Okay. All right. So I want to make sure there's another question that was not repeated. Oh, you mean that someone who has been granted cancellation removal, can they be targeted in the sense, or can they be placed in removal again? Is that what you're asking? They won't be placed in removal again because they've been granted. What do you mean by is it currently being targeted? In your practice, have you experienced I-130, I-45 be pending for 4 years? No, I have not. Knock on wood. It's time to file a lawsuit. If you're going on 4 years, it's time for you to file a lawsuit. Okay. It's not uncommon that it's taken that long for even after the approval of the 42B. Yeah. But that's the whole thing. It's been if as long as it's been approved by the court, there's no one being targeted. That's the whole point. You've already been approved by the court. No problem. All right, people. I think that's about it. That's about it. I know it's scary, but you cannot let fear take over. Faith over fear. Faith has to speak louder than your fear. Everyone, it's yeah. Kim on Esther married a U.S. citizen currently facing deportation. Any help? Consult with a lawyer. Okay. All right, everyone. Listen. Once again, the whole thing of this, their goal is to make you afraid, so that you can live in fear. Don't live in fear. God hasn't given us a spirit of fear, but a sound mind. There's nothing that we're going to go through that He hasn't given us the strength to endure. Don't live in fear. It may sound like it's easier said than done, but you have to decide. It has to be a daily and conscious decision that today I get up. I'm getting up with the confidence I have in the blood of Jesus, getting up in confidence of the strength with faith that I have in God, that He has not brought me this far to leave me now. He has not brought us this far to let us be ridiculed, to let us be disgraced. He has not brought us this far not to complete that which He has started. You got to speak it into existence each and every day. as you start your day, knowing that His grace, His mercy, His hand of deliverance is going to permanently protect you and your household. That regardless of what may be going on around the country, being people being detained and all that, speak it upon your, speak it into your household. That we may not have our papers completed, we may still be in the process, but we would not be ridiculed, we would not be disappointed, we would not be disgraced, we would not be embarrassed. Our name shall not be on the deportation list. It's not something. It doesn't mean that those who are going through that you're better than them. No, it's because you're believing and trusting God. Because the word of God says that not an iota of what is going to pass out without it being accomplished. If He promised it concerning you, He has to fulfill it. But you've got to believe it. If you and you, if fear is taking over your life, then it suppresses the faith that you should have. And faith is the currency of heaven. You've got to believe and know that God is going to defend you. He is going to vindicate you. He's going to be your defense. That there's nothing. The Bible says, no weapon formed against us shall prevail. If they speak against you, He has to silence all opposition on your behalf. But you've got to believe it. You've got to speak it. You've got to believe it. It's not just about, you read it, we read the Bible, but we've got to believe it. So even when that thought comes in your brain, like, what makes you better than the person who was just deported yesterday? No, I'm not better than them, but because I know that He who is in me is greater. He is able to defend me and to keep me and protect me. And 1,000 would fall at my side, 10,000 by my right side, but they shall not come near me. That's why I'm confident, knowing that in spite of what may be going on around me, God is able, more than able, to protect me. And in spite of people being in the same situation as I am, I will not be moved. My children should not be moved. He will complete that which He has started in our lives. When you speak it each and every day, you start to believe it. Even when that negative voice comes, you speak. It suppresses that until you see what God has promised you, until His testimony concerning you has been perfected. So shall it be. We agree in faith, and so shall it be. Y'all have a wonderful weekend. I will see you guys next week.